Imagine this. It is 2 o'clock in the morning. The house is silent, the world outside is dark, and you are awake. Not because you want to be, but because your body is telling you once again that you need to make the trip. You shuffle down the hallway, careful not to stumble, do what you need to do, and climb back into bed, hoping sleep will return quickly. But an hour or two later, it happens again. And maybe again before the sun even thinks about rising. This isn't just a minor annoyance, a slight disruption in an otherwise perfect night. This is a cycle that erodes the very foundation of your health and well-being. You are not alone. Far from it. For millions, this is the relentless rhythm of the night, a broken record of interrupted sleep that leaves them feeling exhausted, frustrated, and believing this is simply their new normal, an unavoidable price of getting older. But what if that fundamental assumption is wrong? What if waking up multiple times every night is not a life sentence? Groundbreaking research is now revealing that we have been looking at this problem all wrong. The solution isn't found in a pill bottle or in resigning yourself to a life of fatigue. It is found in understanding the hidden mechanisms of your own body and applying simple, targeted strategies to retrain it. This is about reclaiming your sleep, your energy, and your safety. And it begins with a shift in perspective. The first thing we must understand is the true cost of these awakenings. This is not merely about lost sleep, though that alone is a serious burden. It is about what that lost sleep steals from you. During deep, uninterrupted sleep, your body enters a state of profound repair. Muscles that have worked all day are rebuilt. Memories from the day are sorted, consolidated, and stored. A symphony of hormones is conducted, regulating everything from your mood and appetite to your immune system and stress levels. When you slice that sleep into fragments, you sabotage this essential maintenance. You wake up not just tired, but fundamentally unrepaired. The cognitive fog, the irritability, the feeling of being constantly run down, these are not just inconveniences. They are symptoms of a body denied its most basic restorative process. But the consequences extend far beyond how you feel at breakfast. Consider the journey you take to the bathroom each night. The hallway is dark. Your mind is foggy with sleep. Your coordination is not at its peak. Now multiply that risk by 2, 3, or 4 trips every single night. The statistics are sobering. Research has clearly shown that individuals who make multiple nightly trips face a significantly higher risk of falls. And for older adults, a fall is not a simple accident. It can be a catastrophic event, a leading cause of injury, and a direct threat to independence. So this nightly ritual is not just stealing your sleep, it is quietly, incrementally, compromising your safety. It is eroding the very independence you cherish. When we view it through this lens, the urgency to find a solution becomes clear. This is not a niche problem. This is a central issue affecting quality of life, health, and longevity. So, if it is not an inevitable part of aging, what is actually happening? The answer lies in a combination of factors that we can influence. One of the most significant and most overlooked involves not your bladder, but your legs. Throughout the day, gravity is constantly pulling fluids downward. When the delicate systems that return fluid to your upper body begin to weaken with age, a phenomenon called peripheral edema can occur, fluid pooling in the lower legs and ankles. You might notice slight swelling by evening, a feeling of tightness in your shoes. Then, you lie down. Horizontal position removes gravity's pull, and all that accumulated fluid finally has a clear path back into your circulation. Your kidneys process this sudden influx, and your bladder fills rapidly, often much faster than it would during the day. You are not necessarily producing more urine because of a kidney problem. Your body is simply processing the day's fluid reserves all at once, in the middle of the night. Understanding this is the first key to unlocking a solution. If we can prevent or reduce that fluid pooling during the day, we can dramatically decrease the nighttime flood. This is where our first category of exercises comes in, focused on activating your body's natural circulatory pumps. Let us begin with something accessible to absolutely everyone. Sit comfortably in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor. Now simply lift your right knee up a few inches, then lower it. Lift your left knee, then lower it. Continue this gentle, seated marching. It seems too simple to be effective, but the science is compelling. The muscles in your calves are not just for walking, they function as a secondary heart for your veins. Every time you contract them, they squeeze the deep veins in your legs, pushing fluid upward against gravity. By doing this simple motion consistently, you are actively helping your body manage fluid during the day, preventing it from all settling in your ankles by evening. Research has shown that regular leg exercises in the afternoon can lead to a significant reduction in nighttime urination episodes. The goal here is not intensity, but consistency. 5 minutes of this gentle marching in the late afternoon every day can initiate a powerful change. Think of it as reminding your circulatory system of its daily duty. To build on this, we can engage those calf muscles more directly. Holding onto a sturdy chair or counter for balance, stand with your feet hip-width apart. Slowly, with control, rise up onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels as high as is comfortable. Feel the contraction in your calves. Hold for a moment at the top, then slowly lower back down. This is a standing calf raise, and it places the full weight of your body onto that muscle pump, making it work even harder. Studies examining this specific exercise have found remarkable results, not just in reducing the overall volume of nighttime urine, but in dramatically delaying the first time you need to get up. Gaining an extra hour or more of uninterrupted sleep at the beginning of the night can be transformative for how you feel the next day. The timing, again, is strategic. Performing these exercises in the late afternoon gives your body a window to process the mobilized fluid while you are still awake and upright, preventing it from becoming a nighttime burden. It is a preemptive strike against the flood. While managing fluid is a colossal piece of the puzzle, it is only one piece. The bladder itself is a muscular organ, and its controller, the pelvic floor, is a group of muscles that often grows weak without our notice. Many people have heard of Kegel exercises, often in the context of women's health after childbirth. But here is a critical fact that is often missed. Pelvic floor strength is vitally important for everyone as they age. This muscular hammock supports your bladder, your bowel, and plays the primary role in controlling the release of urine. When these muscles are strong, they provide firm support and help you maintain control. When they are weak, you experience urgency, frequency, and leakage. Strengthening them is like reinforcing the foundation of a building. The challenge is doing it correctly. The movement is internal and subtle. It is the sensation of stopping the flow of urine midstream, though you should only practice this mentally, not during actual urination. Or for men, a gentle drawing upward. For women, it is a squeezing and lifting around the vaginal area. You should not be holding your breath, clenching your buttocks, or tightening your stomach. The isolation is key. Once you have identified the correct muscles, the training is straightforward but requires dedication. Squeeze and lift, hold for a count of 5, then completely relax for a count of 5. Repeat this 10 times. Do this cycle 3 times a day. As your strength improves, you can increase the hold time. The beautiful part of this exercise is its invisibility. You can do it sitting at the kitchen table, waiting in traffic, or watching television. The commitment is not measured in sweat, but in daily consistency. Clinical evidence overwhelmingly supports this practice, showing that those who adhere to a regular pelvic floor training regimen are far more likely to see dramatic improvements in bladder control, including a reduction in those urgent nighttime calls. It retrains the muscles to respond to your command, not just to the first hint of fullness. Now, let us combine movement with systemic benefit. The simple, profound act of daily walking might seem like generic health advice, but for this specific issue, it is a multi-tool. We have already discussed how it activates the calf pump, but walking does something more. It stimulates your lymphatic system. Unlike your blood, which has the heart as its powerful pump, lymph fluid relies entirely on muscle contraction and body movement to circulate. This system is essential for removing waste and excess fluid from your tissues. A consistent walking habit ensures this cleanup crew is constantly on the job, preventing stagnation and edema. Research following older adults over years has found a stark difference in the prevalence of nocturia between those who walk regularly and those who are sedentary. The walkers not only had fewer episodes, but they also reported better overall sleep quality. The walk does not need to be strenuous. A moderate pace where you can still hold a conversation but feel your heart and breathing working is perfect. A 30-minute walk in the late afternoon serves a dual purpose. It mobilizes fluid and promotes overall health without being so intense that it disrupts sleep later. It is a rhythmic, full-body therapy that reinforces all the other work you are doing. All of these exercises, the marching, the calf raises, the pelvic floor contractions, the walking, create a powerful foundation. They address the mechanics, the fluid, the muscles, the circulation, but there is one final overarching strategy that ties everything together and targets the brain-bladder connection itself. This is perhaps the most powerful tool of all, bladder training combined with timed voiding. This is not a physical exercise in the traditional sense, but a behavioral retraining of your bladder's nervous system. Over time, often due to habit or precaution, many people begin responding to the slightest urge to urinate. The bladder, in turn, learns to send urgent signals at smaller and smaller volumes. It becomes a hypersensitive alarm system, crying wolf all night long. Bladder training works to reset this alarm threshold. The process begins with awareness. For a few days, keep a simple diary. Note the times you urinate. The goal is not judgment, but data. You will likely see a pattern emerge. Once you know your average interval between trips, you begin to gently stretch it. If you typically go every 2 hours, you aim for 2 hours and 15 minutes. When an urge strikes before your scheduled time, you do not immediately get up. Instead, you pause. You sit calmly. You take slow, deep breaths, focusing on elongating the exhale. You might perform a few quick pelvic floor contractions to reinforce control. You distract your mind with a mental task, counting backward, reciting a poem, planning a menu. The initial intense wave of urgency will typically pass within a minute or two. By consistently waiting, you are teaching your bladder a new, more tolerant capacity. Week by week, you extend the interval further. The goal is to gradually increase the volume your bladder can comfortably hold, thereby reducing the frequency of signals it sends. For the nighttime, a related tactic called timed voiding can be revolutionary. Instead of waiting for an urgent awakening, you set a gentle alarm for once per night, perhaps halfway through your sleep period. You wake proactively, void, and return to sleep. While this may seem like you are still interrupting sleep, it is a strategic intervention. By preventing the bladder from becoming overfull and stretched, you avoid triggering the intense, sleep-shattering urges. Over time, this can actually help retrain your body's nighttime urine production. Studies on this method have shown drastic reductions in the number of unscheduled, urgent awakenings. You are replacing chaotic, unpredictable disruptions with a single, planned, and calm intermission. The combination of daytime bladder training and strategic overnight voiding addresses the problem at the level of the nerve signal, recalibrating the entire system. The synergy of these approaches is where true transformation happens. The calf exercises and walking manage the fluid. The pelvic floor exercises provide the muscular strength and control. The bladder training resets the neurological sensitivity. Together, they form a comprehensive defense against the fractured night. It is important to acknowledge that lifestyle factors play a supporting role. Reducing or eliminating diuretics like caffeine and alcohol, particularly in the afternoon and evening, can remove a major irritant and fluid driver, making the training process more effective. Hydration is still crucial, but front-loading your fluids earlier in the day can be a helpful strategy. This journey requires patience. You are not simply taking a pill, you are rehabilitating a system. Changes will be measured in weeks, not days, but the results promised by research are profound. Reductions in nighttime episodes by 40, 50, even 60%. Imagine the difference between 4 trips and 1 or 2. Imagine the difference between 1 trip and sleeping straight through. This is not a hypothetical fantasy. It is an achievable reality grounded in physiology and evidence. The most significant barrier is not complexity, but the myth of inevitability. The belief that this is just what older age feels like. That myth is what keeps people stumbling through dark hallways, accepting exhaustion as a constant companion, and unknowingly elevating their risk of far more serious harm. By choosing to challenge that myth, you are choosing agency. You are choosing to invest in the quality of your nights, and by extension, the quality of your days. You are choosing to protect your independence and your safety. The path is clear. It does not require expensive equipment or drastic measures. It requires understanding, consistency, and the belief that a better night's sleep is within your power to reclaim. Start where you are. Perhaps with 5 minutes of seated marching this afternoon. Perhaps with identifying those pelvic floor muscles. Every step is a move away from resignation and toward rest. Your future, well-rested self is waiting. It is time to begin the journey back to them.